The NHL trade deadline was very quiet for the Calgary Flames, but that doesn't mean that General Manager Craig Conroy won't make some noise in free agency in the summer. With a few stars expected to be on the market, the Flames could make a splash, but will it fit their timeline and Conroy's plans for the future? Plus, we have some updates on Connor Zary and Mikael Backlund ahead of tonight's game against the Colorado Avalanche. We're going to get into all that and more in this video, but first I want to welcome you to Flames Digest. I'm Mark Griffith. If you're new around here and you love the Flames, make sure you subscribe so you can stay up to date on all the latest news, updates, reports, and rumors revolving around your Calgary Flames. We would love to welcome you to the Flames Digest family. And hey, is it too early for some free agency talk? I'm here to say that it is never too early to talk about some free agency talk. We got free agency rumors running rampant, and as we know, there aren't, I wouldn't say it's the craziest class of free agents coming up, at least UFAs, but there's still some good ones, and this was, of course, inspired by an article. This one comes from Flames Nation, written by Adrian Kiss. What a lucky name. I wish I had a name like that. But he writes, which top free agents could the Flames pursue on the open market this summer? And already, you saw it in the thumbnail, you see it in the photo there. There is a familiar face. But let's get into probably the top free agent in this class. Well, I keep saying this class as if it's a draft class. This summer, this round of free agents, I should say. Now, of course, that Mikko Rantanen has signed ever since he got dealt to Dallas, of course. Weird kind of reports coming out that it seems like the Leafs tried to trade Marner away in order to get Rantanen. So I don't know, maybe relations aren't great there, but let's see what is said here. So the 27-year-old career Maple Leaf is undoubtedly the best free agent set to hit the market this summer. Marner is having another strong season in Toronto, recording 80 points in 63 games, well over a point per game. He's a really, really good player. His offensive output clearly overshadows any Flames player this season, almost double what our top point getter has. Marner has never dipped below 60 points over his NHL career, even in injury-shortened seasons. He's consistently produced impressive numbers on average. Marner has been a 90-point per season player, a dream asset for any team. And look, I know a lot of people think maybe he is a merchant of playing with good players, but honestly, Mitch Marner is just a really good hockey player. I'm not glazing him in any way, but look, he kind of does it all. He can be shifty. He can be, pass the puck around like no one's business. He's got a pretty good shot. He penalty kills. He'd be really good on this team. It's just a matter of if he would go to Calgary, and honestly, I'm not too sure. But the bidding for Marner will be astronomical, with cost potentially reaching $12 to $13 million. AAV. Oh my goodness. The Flames have the cap space to accommodate this, but can they make a compelling enough case to lure Marner? And would he even consider leaving Toronto? I wouldn't have thought he would want to leave the Leafs up until those reports came out about Rantanen. Is that true? I don't know. Would you want to play for Brad Treliving? I'm not too sure. But either way, it is true. He's a great free agent, a great player. The Flames can afford it for now. Who knows when we have to pay our players in the future. But, I mean, would we even be able to get him? I'm not too sure. But, I mean, feel free to let me know down in the comments if you would like to go after Mitchie and if you would like to see, or if you think it's even possible. Now let's get into the next one. Samuel Bennett, one of my lookalikes, of course. Bennett is a familiar name for Flames fans as the highest draft pick in franchise history. He spent the first 7 years of his career in Calgary. It's crazy to think that he was here for 7 years because it really didn't seem like he played all that much. It's fair to argue that Bennett was never truly put in a position to shine during his time with the Flames. True. His highest point total was 33, recorded during his first full season. Eventually, it became clear Bennett needed a fresh start, leading to his trade to the Florida Panthers in the 2020-2021 season. Like Marner, Bennett will attract significant interest. This could result in a substantial payday for the 28-year-old. Even though he has never reached 50 points in a season, of course, teams would be paying for more than just regular season scoring. He's proven he can do it in the playoffs. I mean, back-to-back Stanley Cup Finals appearances. He was on Team Canada that won the Four Nations face-off, and as we saw, he was a bit of a threat, not only offensively, but has some aggression as well. If the Flames pursue Bennett, it likely won't be their only big move. Bennett alone won't resolve Calgary's offensive struggles, so additional acquisitions would be necessary. The key question remains, would Bennett even want to return to Calgary? It's kind of the same thing as Marner here. I don't think so. Bennett probably doesn't look back on his time in Calgary very fondly. I know we have different coaching, different systems that would give him a better opportunity now. But again, sometimes you get a bad taste in your mouth and it stays. And I understand if that's how Bennett feels about Calgary. I mean, I know he started here. I'll never forget the 2015 playoffs when the crowd's just chanting, Sammy Bennett. It was awesome, but I can't imagine that's what he thinks of first when he thinks of this organization. But again, let me know down below, would you like to see the Flames pursue Benny? And do you think he could possibly come here? Let's get into the last one here and talk about Nikolai Ehlers. So, Ehlers is another intriguing name on the market this summer. At 29, he's approaching the age where long-term contracts are a gamble. While Ehlers has been a consistent presence for the Winnipeg Jets, his offensive contributions have been modest. His career high of 64 points came all the way back in 2016-17. However, this season appears to be a breakout for Ehlers as he's currently a point-per-game player on a dominant Jets team. Is he a merchant of playing with a really good team? Though his playoff performance has been underwhelming, just 14 points in 37 career games, a strong postseason this year could reshape perceptions and boost his market value. Ehlers will likely be more affordable than Marner or Bennett, but will still command a significant contract. While he'd be a valuable addition, it's doubtful he alone could resolve Calgary's offensive issues. And I think it's going to take a lot to resolve our offensive issues. Thank God we have a good defense. Again, I don't want to see the Flames go after Ehlers. He's just not a player for this organization, in my opinion, especially at what he will cost. If you could get him for maybe a shorter term and a much smaller contract, great. But you could say that about most players. So I don't know if I'd really want Ehlers. Again, the thing about all these guys, would they want to come to Calgary anyway? And do they fit our plans for the future? I think the Flames would still like to go after young centers, preferably right shot. I don't know if any of these guys fit the bill. They're all wingers, so I'm not too sure. Well, Bennett kind of dabbles at center, but still, I just really don't know about any of these guys, to be quite honest. It's funny that they're the first ones that come up just because they're the best free agents, but I don't know if they're the best fits for Calgary. I'll kind of let the article kind of conclude itself. So in the short term, beyond these three players, the free agent forward class this summer skews older. It's unlikely many will land in Calgary on anything beyond short-term deals. However, the Flames might consider adding veteran presence to complement their young core, as they've kind of shown works as this season has been, involved way more wins than anyone thought. Could players like John Tavares, Brad Marchand, or Claude Giroux make sense? Convincing them to join Calgary could be challenging. I don't think they would. They want to go for a cup. But as they're likely seeking immediate Stanley Cup contention, exactly, there you go. Still, if the Flames move current veterans like Kadri or Coleman, bringing in players with winning pedigrees could be beneficial. It would work. Again, I don't think any of those guys would want to join Calgary, and I don't think I'd want them to join at the price they'd probably ask for. So free agency talks, maybe it's a little too soon. I'm going to backtrack on what I said earlier. Maybe it is a little too soon, and I don't know if any would end up being Flames next season, but I'm sure we'll revisit this in the offseason and the summer, of course. Now let's get into some updates. We do have some big updates here. Yesterday's video kind of alluded to what some of these updates could be, but now we know for sure Connor Zary, 2-game suspension. A little bit harsh from the Department of Player Safety from the NHL, but Calgary's Connor Zary has been handed a 2-game ban for elbowing. Of course, it was in retaliation to Pettersson's hit on Kadri, which was a clean hit, but still nice to see Zary, going after the opponent and protecting his teammate, but he didn't do it in the right way. It was not clean. He did kind of elbow Pettersson in the face, so understandable there. The other person, of course, is Mikael Backlund. So I don't have a screenshot of what's actually going on, but Mikael Backlund, I can tell you, is out week to week with an upper body injury, which is terrible for backs. As a result, Dryden Hunt has been recalled from the Wranglers. You could probably assume he will be coming in. Both Hunt and Klapka might draw into the lineup. So on April 2nd, 2021, Flames forward Mikael Backlund missed a game against the Oilers due to injury. Since then, he's played in the club's last 328 consecutive games. So a bit of an Iron Man streak ending tonight with this injury. When he left the game, he must have been hurt because he's the type who would play no matter what. But obviously, we wish a speedy recovery to our captain, and hopefully he can play some playoff hockey here in the spring. We'll just have to see. Those are the updates, which brings us into tonight's game. Of course, it is another big one, as they all are. heading down the stretch here, but the Flames have a tough one tonight at the Dome against the Colorado Avalanche. This one goes at 7 p.m. local time, and it's gonna be tough. You know, the Flames already depleted at the forward position, playing against a very hot team right now that is showing that they are still very much contenders, not only in the Central Division, but in the West and in the entire league. So it will be very tough. At the time of recording, I don't know who will be between the pipes. I would assume Wolf, but we'll have to see, of course. Going to be a tough one, which brings us into the comment of the day to wrap up this video, which was similar to this, and it comes from yesterday's video. A bit of a double whammy there. It comes from Soprano 5000, and they say, Bax, as good of a player as he is, I wish he produced more points. Gonna miss Backlund's defense. Yes, with his injury, sure, he doesn't have too much of an offensive game anymore, but he is still a presence defensively. That's gonna suck not having him in. Also, we don't stand a chance against the Avs. It's an automatic loss, just being real. The Flames will have to hold against when playing the Avs. It's most likely true. I'm still, I'm going to believe that the Flames can get something going tonight, get a win, really rally behind their fallen soldiers and get a dub here, but I can't deny that it will be a tough one against Colorado, but you never know. Any given Sunday, am I right? Thank you so much for watching this video. Please subscribe like you saw here today and have a wonderful rest of your day.